Hey yo, it's Gluke. Welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about time signatures. Let's go! Okay, so here we are back in Ableton, and today we're going to do the unthinkable. We're going to go all the way up here and change these numbers. Now, when I was suggested this video topic to cover about time signatures, in my head the video lasted about 30 seconds, and it pretty much went, you see how this says 4-4? Don't touch it, just leave it. But for the sake of expanding our minds, let's go ahead and see what happens here. So, before we get into touching it, we need to understand what it is we're actually doing. If you make EDM on a computer, here is something you will never ever see or deal with, and this is what's called a time signature. Now, you'll typically hear people refer to house music as 4/4 music, and that's because it is in the 4/4 time signature. What that means is this top number here tells us how many beats are in a measure. And you can think of a measure as essentially a unit of music. On the bottom here, this number tells us which note counts as a beat. So for us, since we have a 4 on the bottom, we know that quarter notes are going to be counted as beats. And so once 4 quarter notes are in a measure, or 4 quarter notes worth of time are in a measure, we'll have one complete measure. Now, your first thought's probably, okay, well, what if we just switch this to 5? 5/5. Well, we can't really do that because we don't know what a fifth note is. On the bottom, we'll only have 2, 4, 8, 16, and so on and so on, but it'll all be divisible by 4. And that's because those are literally the only notes we have in terms of time. Now, we have triplets and stuff, but those aren't really included in the time signature. That's a different thing altogether. In the top here, we can change this number to 5 because 5 beats per measure of quarter notes means we just need 5 quarter notes per measure. The next logical question you might have is why? And to answer that, we need to get deep and expand our minds. So, back in the olden times before everything was electronic and made on a computer, people needed a way to notate the music so that they could hand music to anyone who understood how to read it and be able to play what they needed to play. A good example of this is 3/4 music. That's the standard time signature for a waltz. So here is an example of what a 3/4 time signature looks like. We also have time signatures such as 7/8. Here is an example of what a 7/8 time signature looks like. And this is called a treble clef, and this is out of the scope of this video. So all we're looking at here are the numbers. Now, if you love my high-def graphics, just wait until we start writing music in these time signatures. Okay, so now that we know what we're changing, we can see that this top number here is going to be the number of beats in a measure, and this bottom number here is going to denote the value of each beat. So, as you can see, I've already changed it to 7/8, and if we just listen to the metronome, you'll hear immediately how it's different from what you're used to listening to unless you seek out this kind of music. Now, all the way back in my middle school and high school days, I used to have to play things like this, where an arrangement would be in 4/4, and then it would swap to 7/8, and then it would go to like 6/8 or something, and then it would go back to 4/4. The way that you count 7/8 is it goes 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. And the reason is because the first 2 beats we can essentially treat as quarter notes, because with those 2 quarter notes, we have 4 eighth notes, and then all we have left is 3 eighth notes. So when we count along with the metronome, it goes 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and so on and so on. Now, if we were to write a piece of music to 7/8, mainly what we're worrying about is where the kick and the drums are going to land, because we need to create a cohesive piece of rhythm, and then when we slap chords on it, the chords will do what the chords do, and all of the notes will stay the same. It's just mainly the rhythms that are changing here. So, I've already made this little loop here, and let's see if we can discern where the beat is. I've found that when it comes to these more exotic time signatures, in the unfortunate scenario that you're asked to write something in this time signature, the best way to do it is to figure out where the strong beat is and where the weak beat is, and the easiest way is to use the kick and the clap. So So here in the call section, we have this little rim shot and then this clap and then this little extra hit. And then in the second half of the measure here, we have this response, which is a bit more of a chaka-cha. And so you can even see the grid is like not wanting to stick on it because it's so foreign. So if we turn off this, then we really get just the meat and potatoes of the beat. And so if we go ahead and add in the hats now, the hats allow us to sort of fill in some of the dead spaces between each of the beats. Excellent. Here are the chords and the little melody that I've written that go over top of it, and I will play these separate from the drums. And so if you didn't know that it was an exotic time signature, you would probably have a difficult time figuring out the actual rhythm of this. That's because we're using larger musical pieces here. I'm not playing on every single beat. I'm just mainly using chords every measure. And that allows us to be very, very broad with what we're doing here with regards to the time signature. Now, when we put it all together, you can hear that between the chords changing and the layout of the drums, that we can actually start to get a bit of a beat going here. Now, the next question you would probably ask is, why do we only write in 4/4? Why don't we use these kind of time signatures? And that comes down to the fact that humans only have two sides. We have our left side and our right side. Or I guess in this case, because the camera's backwards, we have our right side and our left side. And so when you're dancing to music that has 4 beats per measure, right? And you want to swing back and forth so that you don't have to stop dancing all night. If you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, it allows you to bounce back and forth pretty much indefinitely. If we had something like 7/8 dance music, it would mean that we would have to conscientiously be aware of where the beat is in order to dance to it. And everyone would be going, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. And that's tricky in a club setting. So that is why we don't really use any other time signature than 4/4. The only other time signature that you would hear or use is 2/2, and that is commonly referred to as halftime music. Here is an example of something that I wrote that would technically be 2/2, but it's 4/4. It doesn't matter. That just changes the way that we would count it if we were playing this music on an instrument. So here is what it sounds like. And so we can count this in 4, and it would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Or we could count this in 2 and only count on the kick and when the clap or snare plays, which would sound like 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So that's what halftime means, and that's what 4/4 means really when we're talking about electronic music. For the sake of content, I'll go ahead and try writing something in 3/4. So first what we'll do is open up a new project, and I can zoom in and look at all the beats here, and we see 1, 2, 3, 4. There are beats. Here's our second measure. If we go to 3, now here we have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And so let's figure out how to make this fun to listen to. Okay, so it only took some mental gymnastics, but here we have, I guess, what you would call a decent piece of music. But in 3/4, this is the waltz, and you'll immediately hear the rhythm differ from pretty much EDM altogether. But here, we had to play off of the 3 beats. And so essentially, we have a call here and a response here. And in the bass, I just kind of mimicked that. Now on the kick, I really didn't know what to do other than just put it on the downbeat every time, because that's kind of like all I've ever heard. And then for the drums, the snare hits on the second beat like it normally would, and then in order to have it play into the reset, I pushed the second one back a half step, and so you'll hear how the beat sounds all together. And then with the hats, I just colored in every single spot so that we have something just keeping time. Now here is the music that I wrote, and here is the beat altogether. Okay, so hopefully you had fun waltzing to that. That's all that I really need to cover with time signatures. I think one of the biggest takeaways of this video is that seeing how the notes that we're choosing don't really change based on what time signature we're using. It's really only the rhythm here. And that's applicable to all different styles of music and all different time signatures, because we want to make sure that we have grounded harmonic relationships between everything going on here. And as long as the drums make sense, you can pretty much get away with anything here. So I hope that you found this video interesting. Hopefully you will never have to change the time signature in whatever DAW you're using, but that is what it means. With that, be sure to like and subscribe. Be sure to hit the bell so you know when I post new videos, and we'll see you in the next one.